When I started training calisthenics, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. I would just try a bunch of random bullshit and see what worked. And I made so many mistakes in my first years of training that if I had avoided, could have made my progress so much faster. So in this video, I'll tell you about 3 of the mistakes that I made myself so you can hopefully avoid them and get much faster results than I did. I am a coach at a calisthenics gym where I teach group training classes in calisthenics. And I was talking to one of my coworkers one day, and he was saying that he wanted to learn the front lever. So I asked him how many pull-ups he can do, because you obviously have to have a decent amount of basic strength before you start training skills. And he was like, oh yeah, I can only do 6 pull-ups, but it's so hard to progress on my pull-ups. And then I asked him, well, do you track how many pull-ups you do? Do you track your workouts? And the answer to that was no, he didn't. He hadn't even thought about it. If you want to improve fast in calisthenics and get actual results and get better at the basics like pull-ups and dips, you absolutely have to track your workouts. There's a saying that goes something like this: what doesn't get tracked doesn't get managed. If you don't track your reps over your different exercises when you work out, you simply won't know how many reps you did for next time. And so you won't be able to apply progressive overload, which is one of the most fundamental and important concepts in both calisthenics, but overall just training of any kind. Progressive overload basically means, in simple terms, to increase the difficulty of your workouts over time to ensure that your body is getting stronger. If you do weightlifting in the gym, you would do this by just adding more weight onto the bar. You can also add more sets or reps than you did last time. And in calisthenics, we can also go to a more difficult progression of the exercise to apply progressive overload. For example, let's say you want to get better at pull-ups, and you can do 3 sets of pull-ups with 6 reps, 5 reps, and 5 reps. Next time, you have to ensure that you did more than last time. So that could, for example, be adding 1 rep in 1 set. You do 6 pull-ups, 6 pull-ups, and 5 pull-ups. That's 1 more rep than last time. So you're making sure that you're challenging yourself and forcing your body to get stronger. If you don't track, you simply won't be able to remember how many reps you did on all your different exercises, on all the different workouts you did. You could either write it down on a piece of paper, you could write it down on your phone. I personally just use an app on my phone. It's called Strong. You just create a workout and then you write down your sets and reps there, and it remembers how much you did last time for the next workout. So download that if you want to. The second mistake that I did myself that slowed my progress down is not having a structured workout program to follow. If you actually want to improve fast at calisthenics and get better at the basics, you have to have some sort of program to give your training some structure. You can't just simply show up to the gym and do whatever you feel like whenever you feel like doing it. That way your training will completely lack structure or consistency. The same coworker I told you about earlier that didn't track his workouts, I asked him if he had a structured workout program that he followed, and the answer to that was also no. So basically what he was saying is it was hard for him to improve on pull-ups, but he didn't track what he was doing, and he basically just showed up whenever he felt like it a couple times a week and did some pull-ups with no structure to it. So I was like, bro, of course you won't get results. If you don't have a program, you have no structure, and you're not tracking anything, of course you won't get results. So if you actually want results, track what you're doing and have some sort of a structured workout program that you follow. The very last mistake that I did when I was a complete beginner in calisthenics was constantly getting distracted. I would constantly find a new program, follow it for a couple weeks, but then something else that looked a bit better would show up, and I would hop to a different program, and I would be totally inconsistent with my training, constantly switching between different programs because there is always something new and more exciting to try out. Shiny object syndrome is the tendency to be easily distracted by new, exciting ideas, opportunities, or trends, causing individuals to abandon current tasks or goals in pursuit of the latest novelty. So this basically means that you're easily distracted by new, more shiny objects, a new program, a new exercise, something new that makes you switch program. If you constantly switch between different exercises and programs, you won't really see that good results because 1, you simply can't track your progress and your reps over 10 different exercises if you keep switching between them. And 2, your nervous system doesn't have time to adapt to one single exercise. If you want to get better at calisthenics, it's very simple. First, you have to get better at the basics, which is mostly pull-ups, dips, push-ups, and rows. That's it. Maybe a bit of legs if you want to train that, but it's very simple. You shouldn't be doing too many exercises or switching around between 50 different exercises over the course of a few months. Your nervous system and body has to have a chance to actually adapt to the movements that you're doing and to get better at executing them. So if you constantly switch around between different things, you're not going to have the time to do that. You get better at what you train for, so your training should be specific. And if you constantly do different things, then you won't really get better at anything. So the mistakes I did and how you can avoid them. First, track your workouts so you can be sure to apply progressive overload every single workout and get stronger. 2, not having a structured workout program. Have some sort of workout structure that you can follow, certain days of the week that you work out always, and certain exercises that you have in your program consistently. And 3, not getting distracted and doing random bullshit. If you avoid these 3 mistakes, your progress will be so much faster than mine was, and you'll get good at the calisthenics basics very fast. If you like the video, drop a like, and if you want to see more like it, consider subscribing.